When you are somebody who takes the initiative, sticks out, is willing to lead the pack or be an example or set a trend or set the tone, it is very important that you consider the fact that there are going to be some challenges. There are going to be some criticism thrown your way, but that is an opportunity for growth. Just like all challenges, all obstacles, all trials, all tests, they are all opportunities for growth. Many of us, we take those moments and we beat ourselves up about it. We feel like the criticism, simply by being different, is valid. We think that, well, all of these people have something to say about what I'm doing because what I'm doing is different. What I'm doing is unique. What I'm doing is special, authentic to who you are. You see, this is why a lot of people have difficulty following their own consciousness and being authentic and being themselves, is because they fear the criticism. They fear people looking at them as different, as odd, as, something that's just crazy. When in fact, you are just simply following your own consciousness. You're following your own path, your own purpose. So you must expect those things to happen. Some of the most amazing people, amazing talents have come about, and they have also experienced senses of criticism or challenges because their path was unique to them, was unique to the entire collective, to the entire world. And then once they made a breakthrough, and especially letting go of caring about the criticism, it allowed them to be leaders in a whole new realm, right? It allowed them to break through the stratosphere of their own limitations, but when not caring about the limitations or the limiting beliefs of other people as they try to put you in a box, when you don't care about that, then you really tap into the infinite potentiality of who you are. You really tap into a sense of power and strength that we all seek, but very few have the courage to actually move forward and achieve. So as you set out to be a leader, a spiritual leader, one who leads in their own spiritual journey, you are leading your consciousness. By way of your consciousness, you are leading your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your unconscious, your ego. When you are leading all aspects of who you are, and thus leading even other individuals who look at you with inspiration, some may even look at you with remorse, regret, resentment, because they themselves cannot do what you are doing at the current moment. So they are feeling a sense of regret, feeling a sense of shame, feeling a sense of guilt, feeling a sense of insecurity, right? But it is not your job to comfort them and reinforce in them that they have the ability to do it, but it is your job to simply show them, to be a model, and also to have grace and have patience for those individuals, because you may have been in the same shoes that they are living right now. So remember that their journey is theirs alone. You don't have to carry it. You don't have to assume it. You don't have to care to the point that it is taking you away from being present in your own journey. You have to navigate through the resistance of people and even moments where you fear being authentic. You fear being connected with who you truly are. And sometimes it isn't graceful, right? Sometimes it can be clumsy initially. Sometimes it can be messy when you make this transition from living and wearing this mask of the ego, right? The mask of acceptance, the mask of society and what society says you should be, what your family says you should be. And so once you start to peel off this mask and you start to expose your true self for yourself, and everybody else starts to see it, they will be resistant, just like you were initially resistant, right? You were once fearful about that process of taking off the mask and being your true self. But you got to a point where you realize the mask is harming you more than it is healing you, more than it is supporting you, more than it is giving you any kind of beneficial outcome or result. So once you identify that this mask is absolutely not serving you, but it is causing you more harm, then peeling off the mask is inevitable. But still, peeling off the mask is scary. And living your most authentic self is scary because one, you haven't done it before. And two, you still are connected and attached to what society says because we all live in a community. We all live in society. We all have connections and relationships that have meaning to us. So it is valid to be a little concerned. But it is more important to really understand that when you are connected with who you are and you're living from your authentic self, the people who love and care about you the most will embrace it. So it is also a way to screen out the mess, to screen out the people who are really not loving you for who you are, but loving an idea of who you are. And that idea is the mask. And so once you acknowledge that you are wearing a mask, you are wearing a facade, you are being a false idea of who you are living from the ego, you must understand that some of your friendships will change because the people who connect with you, they may really be connecting with that ego self, that false self. Whereas when you take off that false self and expose who you truly are, those who can connect with that, those who really truly knew that aspect of you on a deep spiritual level, those people will remain. And those people will absolutely be joyful and happy and excited about you coming into yourself because they always knew that about you. It's very amazing, the connections with people on a spiritual level. People may see you beyond how you see yourself. And people may be patient and waiting with grace to wait until you actually come into this unfoldment, this realization of who you are. And thus, they themselves can be inspiration for that, right? But when it comes out, right, when you come out and you take off this mask, you are free. You are free. But you must understand that with the adversity of resistance from other people, judgment, criticism, there comes strength. Initially, it may not feel that way. Initially, if you are still critical of yourself, then you are going to receive that criticism and it's going to hold weight. It's going to seem valuable to you. So you have to be careful that when you expose your true self, you are in full acceptance of who you are, that you are leading in this process in a state of empowerment, in a state of understanding that this true self is your most powerful self, that this true self is the part of you that is actually going to create the most opportunity, attract the most abundance, that is going to allow you to feel the most fulfilled that you've ever felt before. And you have to realize that it is all worth it. It is all worth the transformation or the transition of letting go of the false self and the false relationships that were connected with that false self into authenticity, your authentic self and your authentic relationships and connections. That is the foundation of leadership along your individual spiritual journey. And as you move on, you get to a point where you start to be, again, an inspiration, a model for other people. And other people will look to you as a leader, not simply to tell them what to do, but to look to with an understanding that you have a little bit more information and insight than they may have currently. And they may recognize you as somebody who has reached a certain level, okay? And you are continuing to ascend. So your job is to identify this authentic self, make sure your consciousness is leading all the other aspects of who you are, and then moving forward with a sense of confidence that it is okay to go through this transition, that is okay to recognize that some of your relationships will change because you are changing. You see, you are changing into your true self. You're not changing into who you want to be. You're not changing into who you think you should be. You're not changing into your highest or best version of yourself. You are changing into the true version of yourself. You are peeling away the excess, the false self. So you have to acknowledge these, you know, external challenges as lessons that are going to continue to help you to see this most authentic self, to see this true self. Many times with challenges, we take them on as some kind of evidence that the universe, that people are against you because you are attached to people. You are attached to the outside influences and outside validation. But the most important thing is internal validation, recognizing that you must approve of yourself. Do not seek approval from others. Though it is nice to receive, acknowledgement, to receive gratitude, to be at a space where people can recognize and honor you. But you don't seek that. You only seek it within yourself, toward yourself first, most importantly. And those things happen in a way that allows you to recognize it. But the most humble people who really own who they are, they take that with a grain of salt. And they recognize that, you are simply just being a beacon. You are being a light for that individual. And when you are coming from a humble place and you are told as to how amazing, how vibrant, how beautiful you are, that it is something that is going to help them and support them, that it is not about you, it's about them. So you have to take that with some serious humility and honor and recognize that in that moment, you have been a reflection of their highest possibility. That is something to really be, take so serious, because it is something that we shouldn't take lightly. Even though a lot of people who are still living in their ego, they take it lightly. They let themselves get a big head about it, and they really get more into their ego. And then they come with a sense of arrogance because they have a talent, they have a passion that, to me, I easily identify as divinity, right? As a talent that is God itself. And so when you attach yourself to this talent, this ability, this vibrancy, and you think that, oh, this is who I am and nobody can beat me and I'm the best, right? And everybody should bow down to it. Though on a spiritual level, people recognizing it is them, in a sense, metaphorically bowing to it. Just like when you look at other people and their talents, you must approach it with reverence, love, and respect. But when you take it on without the humility of recognizing that this talent can go away any moment if you abuse it, if you neglect it, if you don't take care of it. And so the very fact that people are acknowledging you for it means that you should really be honored. Okay. So that is part of leadership, is when people see the power in you, the divinity within you, the vibrancy, the life, right? Then what they're ultimately seeing is that divinity within you. It isn't you, right? It isn't your ego. It isn't your subconscious mind. It isn't your conscious mind. It is your consciousness. It is that divine spark that they are witnessing by way of your talents, by way of your passions, by way of your achievements. And so honor that, just like you would honor God itself if it was before you, you see? So they are acknowledging that, because if you were to exchange with an entity, right, if God was a living entity that was individualized, and you can actually exchange, talk, and communicate with it, how would you treat it? You would treat it with respect and love and honor. And what would you expect of it to treat of you? right? A sense of humility, grace. So that is exactly how you should respond to people who acknowledge your leadership skills, right? The leader within you as you're on this spiritual journey. So it's important to recognize the challenges and embrace those challenges, embrace the transformation. When you embrace the transformation, then you are, when I mentioned being a beacon of light, when you are sharing your passions, but when you are dealing with challenges and you recognize that you are, you know, abundant, right? You are part of or like an extension of the source, and there is nothing to fear. There is no sense of like, we're going to cease to exist. Yeah, we may die and transform bodies and realities and realms, but ultimately, consciousness never ceases to exist. And so, as you continue on, you realize that these quote unquote problems that we are having or experiencing are very insignificant. They're really not problems, right? They're really opportunities. And so, as you stand amongst a group of people, and they are experiencing or dealing with these same challenges or obstacles, you understanding your divine presence, right? In essence, recognizing that you cannot die, you cannot cease to exist. So really, all this stuff that we deal with day to day with the world and politics and, crime and war, it's really insignificant. It's really silly, right? In the grand scheme of things. And so what that allows you to do is to see it not as something that is urgent, not as something that is an emergency, but something that we can look at as an opportunity for growth, to expand, to have an experience that will help us to, again, tap into your true self. That's all this is. This is all about you having experiences. And if you continue to repeat certain experiences, it's because you're not looking at it in a productive way, right? You're attached to looking at it the same way, which isn't serving you. So you have to acknowledge the pattern and then look at it from a different perspective, a different angle that's going to help you to like change your perspective, but change your result, right? Change the outcome. And that's going to wake you up. That's going to access consciousness in a way that allows you, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind to break down and transform how it's been processing life. All right. So you have to stay aligned with truth, with this truth that you are an infinite being, that you are a divine being, that you are an individualized expression of that which we call God, especially under pressure. You see, because pressure, again, that's just a concept. That's just a construct of what we call life and how we approach life. You think that this means, oh my God, something's wrong. This is bad. We need to do something. We need to have something. We don't have something. This is bad. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. What are we going to do? What we're going to do is recognize who we are. And then we're going to simply approach it from the standpoint of what can we do? What is the next step that we can do along this process of learning from the experience and ultimately creating and materializing the experience that we desire, you see? Because believe it or not, even when you're going through tough times, hard times, right? Times that are not ideal, that is an opportunity that your superconscious is trying to help you to get around to actually get to the thing that you want, right? If you're struggling, for example, if you're struggling with bills and every month you're struggling with bills and you're living paycheck to paycheck and you notice that is a pattern, then all you have to do is simply look at it differently. Not that, oh, the struggle is real, but recognize that you have to do something different. You have to take a different approach on how you make money, right? Take a different approach on how you spend money. Where's the money going? What are your expenses looking like, right? How are you thinking and feeling about money? Do you have a unproductive belief system about money? Do you feel like, and you were told as a child, you were poor and you were always going to be poor, or that money is evil, you know? and that people who have money are bad people and they have the money because they ripped other people off. You have to understand that it is because you are looking at things from a particular point of view. Now, there is no wrong point of view. There is simply what is the objective? What is your desire? And how you think about it is the thing that's going to lead you to that desire. This is what we're talking about when we say spiritual leader. From a spiritual standpoint, how are you thinking? What are your emotions? What are your actions? Those are the things that are going to lead you to a particular outcome. So if you know the desire, the outcome that you want, you have to make sure that your emotions, your thoughts, your words, your actions are designed, customized to lead you to that outcome. And once you recognize that challenges, it's just simply an opportunity. So you have to transform and reframe your understanding of challenges, difficulties, hard times. They are just simply lessons. They are just simply opportunities, right? Tests that are helping you to see things from a different perspective, a different angle. And when you see it from a different angle, it changes the reality and the results that you are going to experience. Thank you so much. Feel free, go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, and get access to this free ebook, The Power Within. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.